Oh shoot, am I live? Oh no. Oh look, y'all, I am so sorry. Thank you so much. My name is Shantae Bliss Bar. I did not realize that I was live, but you know how it goes sometimes, And that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. So, whoa, oh my goodness. I kind of was a little bit call myself being prepared, unprepared. But so let me introduce myself. My name is Shantae Bliss Bar. I am a life coach. I focus on celibacy coach. I help women heal through celibacy. I have a course coming up in October, and I'll notify you of that. But you can go and put your sign up at www.omnia.co, and you can get notified when that course is coming up. Um, I am also a healthy mindset coach. I help men and women navigate through a system, a mental health care system that is not always that kind um, to people of color. Okay. I've been through it, I've worked through it. A lot of times we don't know that the mind gets sick just like the body gets sick. And because of all these stigmatisms, we don't take care of our mental health like we do our physical health. And I mean, to be quite honest with you, we don't even take care of our spiritual health, right? Because, the separation of church and state. Church is the body, state, mind. So, okay, and you can also go to www.omnia.co and sign up for healthy mindset coaching. So this is healthy mindset coaching is good for someone who is new to, you don't have to be new to the mental health care system, but it's your first time like really dealing with it, and you really want to take your mental health serious, and not just you, but a loved one, especially if it's a child, but it's for you and not your child. Okay. And just as a disclaimer, I have my master's degree in psychology, but I am not licensed. I am a coach. Okay, honey. So let's go ahead and get into this message that God got me to give to you. So God could just, because when God got a message for you to give, you better try to give it, you know? And so this message is too heavy for you. Now, I'm drinking my coffee, and if y'all know me, I love coffee. Some of y'all know me who know me know I love tea. And I always drink tea, green tea with honey or chamomile with honey. But honey, listen, okay? I got the stressing, back a few years ago, and I was working, stressed out, and I had to drink coffee. And so I developed an addiction. So I'm gonna sip some coffee and talk to y'all. So this is where God got me coming from today. And it was a little while ago. Like God had me all up and came. I want to go to Genesis. God. No, actually, I wanted to go to Exodus. And God is like Kings. But I don't want to do Kings. 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 And I didn't understand why. And it had Kings is long. You got first Kings, second Kings. And it's like, God, really? Why you got me? Why? It was then that I began to see who I am. Okay. I began to see the truth in Kings. I began to see the truth. I'm like, oh my goodness. God began to minister to me. Okay. So I am in Kings, and guess what? I'm starting at 1, and I'm finna go down until I'm gonna go until God tell me enough. Okay. So actually, I'm not gonna read all of 1. So in First Kings, we know that David, God loves David. David is, upright. God been blessing David, so we know this, right? And so we also know that what is this little heifer name? But I guess I can't really call her a heifer. This her son. Bathsheba. So we know. I'm gonna skip one. I'm gonna skip chapter. I'm gonna skip chapter one. I'm just gonna really go to. So we know that uh, King David is on his deathbed. We know that there was he had another son, and I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his name too well, but let me try. You know, Adonijah. I'm just saying, Adonijah. Um, Wait a minute. I'm sorry. So we know that he was all set to he was all set, to take the throne, from his father. Everybody loved him. Everybody wanted him. They wanted him. Okay, they wanted him, and you can go. This is in First Kings, and so now, right? Bathsheba, and I guess any mother would do this for her child. She want her son to, be king, and she made it happen. She, wheeled and dealed and made it happen. Okay, so now Solomon is king, but understand this: it wasn't his. It was not his. It was not his throne. But it's David's son, and God loves David. David has found favor. So David's children and his grandchildren, his lineage has found favor with God. Has found favor with God. So we learn that Solomon has taken the throne, and Solomon loved God so much. He loves God so much that he built this immaculate, you know, uh, uh, um, what do they call it in here? He has built an immaculate temple. We just gonna say this. I mean, full of gold, and he done brought, people in from all over, experts, to work on this and to, have the carvings just right. So we know Solomon loves God. Solomon prays for God's wisdom, and so we know this, right? So what does that have to do with this? This is that's too heavy for you. Like I said, this was not supposed to be Solomon's position. And oftentimes we try and do things, and we go and do them, and our heart is in the right place, and we feel that we can lead the people. I'm just using Solomon and Adonijah as an example. You know, the people loved Adonijah. They loved him. They wanted him. Solomon's mother placed him in the position that he was in. Okay. So what does this have to do with it's too heavy? Now, if you go and look in Kings, and you'll see Solomon was in. His mind was right. His heart was right. He loved. He wanted to do the right thing. He wanted to do the right thing. But when something is not yours, you're not equipped for it, right? So it's not going to work out the way that you intended to work out. Now, we could say that, Solomon, had a good reign, but go read it and you'll see how pleased Solomon was. I mean, God was with Solomon. God was not pleased with Solomon. So much so that he cursed his generation. Okay, now he still loved David. Okay, he still loved David. So David's David's grandchildren are still going to have favor, but it take one person and a bloodline to mess everything up. But so here's the thing: a lot of times we're looking at other people and we see them and we want what they have. Even parents like Bathsheba and can place their children above other children. It just happens. They do that. I think it's a natural thing. But here's the thing: you become an adult and you've been given a position, and it was never yours to begin with, and you get to a point and it's too heavy, and you think it's good at first, like Solomon. It was all good. He was very, seriously. But corruption, he got it corrupt. It was corrupted from the beginning. Okay? It was corrupted from the beginning through his mother because it was never his to begin with. It was not his. So he didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do as far as what God wanted him to do. So a lot of times we're looking at something, we're looking at somebody, and we're looking at them, and it's, they're always smiling. They always have money. You know, they're always happy. They can buy anything they want. They look nice. They dress nice. I want that. And so, what we do, and it's a natural thing because we're social creatures, right? We emulate. But some people take it as far. It's not the emulation. Is I want to walk in your shoes. I want to be you. I want to, you know, I want to be you. I want what they have. And then they end up carrying this cross. And the cross is light in the beginning, right? Because it's somebody else's cross. And understand it's happy, but understand why it's light in the beginning. Because it's, how do I say this? That person is still carrying the burden. You're coming in and seeing what they have, seeing their laughter, seeing their joy. And so, boom, now you're carrying it, you're carrying it, but they still carrying it, but you're carrying it. And so the more you get to going, it's dragging you down. It's heavy. Okay? It's heavy. So heavy that you fold under the pressure. That's because it's not yours. It was never yours to begin with. And so what can end up coming in? What can seep in to alleviate that heavy cross that was never yours to begin with? Corruption. And you start doing things that God didn't intend for you to do, that God did not want you to do. That's not pleasing in the eyes of God. And what did Solomon do? Solomon began to practice witchcraft. He no longer trusted God. Okay? So we can look at someone and we don't know why they smile. We know what they've been through. We don't know how they stood up, lifted up, and walked. So we automatically think, oh, you know, nothing happens to them. Their life is on easy street. And, you know, these are the things that we think. We think these things. And we want to go and do what they do and follow in their footsteps. That's why it says, take the road less traveled. Okay? It's it's not pretty on the road less traveled. It's not fun. It's not fun on this road that don't nobody take. It's dark. Don't be afraid of the dark. It's scary because you're not used to you don't have that trust in the beginning. You don't have that trust in God. You have to learn to trust. That trust is an exercise. Trust is an exercise. You just don't automatically trust God. It is what it is. We don't automatically trust anybody. Given the world that we live in today, sorry, we don't automatically just trust. You don't automatically just trust anybody. You know, our experiences and the things that we've been through, and you know, chips away at our trust. Chips away at it. But you looking at somebody else and you see in their life, and they always smiling, and they always got joy, and there's light radiating from them, and you want that light, and you try and get that light. Because listen, let me tell you something. There are ways. Believe what I'm telling you. That you can go and take something from somebody. You can take it from them without them knowing. You could take their voice. You could take their motivation. You could take that. You could take so much. You could take their talent. You could take their talent, but you won't be able to use it the way they use it because it's not yours. Again, Solomon and Adonijah. Okay, it's not yours. So you don't know what to do with it because that that person was born with it. So what you end up doing is you got this, let's say is let's say uh let's say it's a business, okay? This happens a lot. I ain't going into the whole business part, but say I'm a company and this is this say I'm company X, but company Y, we kind of, the same, we doing the same thing, but company Y is a little different. They doing theirs a little different. So much so that they are seriously competitive with me and my company. Now I'm a little insecure because I'm not sure that my customers are not going to go over to them. And I need my customers. So what I'll do is I'll send a spy in. You have spiritual spies, by the way. I'll send a spy in. I need that spy to find out everything about this company, about this business, not just about the company, about the business. I want to know about the owner. I want to know how they, whatever. You get what I'm saying. And so I know that they got the secret formula, kind of like uh the Big Mac sauce, okay? And who was it with the Big Mac sauce and Burger King? Was it Burger King? I don't know, but Burger King ended up trying to do the Big Mac sauce. You can't quite do it the way the original is done. But see, here's the thing. It becomes a burden. Whatever that say company X, company Y, this formula they created, to work, it is the center. It is the center. It is the nucleus to running there. Without this formula, their nucleus will, their company will be destroyed. But I done found out the nucleus. I done found out the formula. And I also don't found out a way to siphon the energy of that formula into my company. But and I did it, and now I'm thriving. Okay, my company is, oh my goodness. Okay. I mean, I'm pulling in 7 figures with my company off of this formula. Only I don't have all of the formula. I only got the basics. I only got what's on the surface. I don't got what's deep. I don't got what's the foundation of that formula. Okay. So now things starting to happen in my company, and this formula ain't quite working. Ain't nothing working with this formula. It's actually, making things worse. And my company is about to fold. So, you know, now I need to figure it out. I need to figure out how I'm gonna make this work. So, I know I can go over here and, let me go and, cut up me some chickens. Just saying. I'm being honest. I can only be honest with y'all. I'm tired, y'all. I can only be honest. I can only be honest. That's how this works. So I'm gonna go, get me a little box and fill it with some blood and some things, whatever it is that I need to do to get this formula to work for me now. I'm going to do it. That's Solomon. That was the fall of Solomon. So how can you put this? How can you put this heavy cross, that was somebody else's burden that they learned how to, carry, and they carry it well because this cross that they've been carrying that cross since they was young. So how can you avoid or put the cross down? Number one, it requires trust. Not trust in yourself. It requires a greater trust in God. You can trust yourself. Absolutely. Yeah. I trust myself to get from point A to point B. Okay. And when I get in my car, I trust myself to know the way there. And even if I know it's GPS, right? But I don't know what's out there. I don't know what's going to happen. So I have to trust that God is going to give me traveling grace and traveling mercy to get me from point A to point B. That's an exercise in trust. Trust in God. We got to trust God. You want to put that heavy cross down? And it's hard to do it, especially now today when it's so easy to turn on any social media and we see somebody living a life that we want to live, the American dream, not even realizing that the American dream was built on a nightmare. Prove me otherwise. The American dream was built on a nightmare. And it has become a nightmare for some people. It's not a dream. You got people stressed out trying to live like, their neighbor who just went and bought, let's just say, I don't want to do the car. I don't want to, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Let's do a car, a nice car. Doggone it. But then you don't even realize that person car poor and house poor. And when they go inside their house, they stressed out because they looked at such and such and see, oh my gosh, I really like what they got. I think I'm gonna go there. It's a natural thing. It's what we do. We social creatures. We're going to emulate someone. We learn from each other. That's what social learning is. We're going to learn from what is around us. And that's okay. Because then you got people, I'm the original, and can't nobody do it like me. And honey, you are not the original. The original is the one. Get it right. When you got one, you got two. When you got two, the original is God. Okay? And granted, we pervert a lot of things. A lot of the gifts that God give us, we pervert it. Okay? We do. But understand that God is the original. People get scared of magic. Who is the original? And I don't want to diminish God as a magician. A magician. But where magic came from? Okay? God said, let there be light. If that ain't magic, I don't know what it is. If that's not magic, I don't know what it is. But we pervert it. We use it and pervert is self pleasure. Look it up in Genesis 1. I'm sorry, Genesis 3. It is Genesis 3, right? Yeah, I think it's Genesis 3. But perversion is self pleasure. It's not necessarily sex. It's okay. The reason why we don't have the powers that God has is because we will destroy ourselves. Because it will always be about us. It's like that now. You know, when we're at a red light, what do we do? Especially when in a hurry, we want that light to hurry up and change. This is what we'll do. We'll snap and the light will change. You know, we can't be trusted with certain things. So we are not original. Okay. You know, you get people that really, really believe that they are original. You might be unique because of your experiences. Everybody got there. When we look at people, you can take two people who don't know each other. They have similar facial structures. Similar height, tall or short. Give or take a few inches. And they're going to. How do I say this? I'm a writer, so I know these things, but it's life. I did not really understand how much learning the craft of writing resembles life. So you have archetypes. I could take two different people, and they're gonna, behave in some similar ways. They not only look similar, they're gonna behave in similar ways, but what makes that person unique is their experiences. Check it out. Just watch and pay attention. I'm pretty sure you know some of these same people that don't even know each other, and they look alike, and they, act alike. A little bit like, dang. I remember there was this dude here. I cannot remember I hate that I cannot remember his name right now. But he used to hang around my uncles. He was around my age. He used to hang around my uncles. And he was from New Jersey. And he ended up moving here and he ended up having a baby and got killed. Somebody killed him. And this was in 2004. And then I went to Howard. And one of my roommates' friends, he was gay. And that's okay. That's him. That's okay. And I'm looking at him. I'm looking at him and I'm like, gosh. His name was Corey. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, Dad, that's Corey. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on a second. What type of games is being played? Like, wait a minute, you are Corey. It just wasn't it wasn't Corey had got killed, but it was just, I just couldn't believe like how much they looked alike. It's only Corey was dead, had just a few months before, really. I don't even think it was a few months before. I think it was about a month, really, because he was just at my house, and he got killed. And I'm looking at this person. I'm like, oh my gosh. you know? And then I started seeing the resemblance in people. And I remember my grandma showed me a picture of a girl getting in the car, and she was a big girl like me. And the crazy thing is I actually had a dress like that, but that dress was high school. Really. I wore that dress on my high school for my high school graduation. I graduated in that dress. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, my grandma, she like, look at you. Why? And I'm looking, I'm like, that ain't me. And I'm really looking like, oh my, yo, this look like me. So I could understand how people really thought it was me. Getting in the car, she had, you know, all everything was showing, okay? All her little behind was showing. But it wasn't me. But it did look like me. I almost fooled myself. So it's okay. So when we look at somebody, naturally we're social creatures. We're gonna want these things that somebody else has. So no, ain't nobody unique. And it's okay to want something someone else has. It's what are you gonna do to get it? You know? And I'm not talking about everything, okay? I might look at, my homegirl man and be like, Dag, I want him. He cute and stuff like that. But that's not okay for me to go after her man. Okay. You know, hmm. Okay. So because I was finna say something, but this ain't the place, this ain't the time. So it is okay to look at something and want it. Okay? It's okay. But a lot of times when we're looking at people and we're looking at their light and we're looking at their happiness and their joy and we're looking at knowing that they, and sometimes people really don't know. So you might get somebody that look at me and they see that I got two businesses and I got this magazine. Y'all don't forget to go to Fly Girls On Magazine at www.flygirlson.com/magazine. And check out the issue. This issue is featuring Sonia Scott Ray, author of Queen, Life Reincarnated. They may look at me and they may see that I have Omnia Journey coaching, the celibacy coaching, they may look at me and see that I have Neva Noir. By the way, yeah, I got some stuff coming up, but we'll talk about it later. Okay. They may look at me and see and say, I wish I had the money she had, or I wish I was as happy as she is, or I wish I was doing the thing that she's doing. You don't know the tears that I cried to get here. Imposter syndrome still sets in. I still have to question, should I be doing this? Am I the one to do this? They don't know the late nights that I was up stressing. God, what is it? You could take this, whatever is in this cup that you trying to spill over and run over, give it to somebody else. It's too much for me. I don't want to carry this. Give it away. Somebody else will be happy with it. And I'll be okay. Let me work a little regular little job. I'll be okay, God. I'll be okay. I promise I won't complain. Just let me work a little regular little job. I don't want, I don't want this thing that you given me. Because what was given to me by a bishop, and a reverend when I got the right hand of fellowship, at different times though. So the reverend, she touched my hand and she said, and God revealed some things to her and she had to reveal them to me to let me know, okay, when I start slipping and I'm going in the right direction. When I start slipping, I'm going in the right direction. So God will also send people on our path along the way to, okay, you still going in the right direction because it get dark, it gets scary. You want to give up, you want to turn around. You can't turn around now, but you want to give up, you want to stop, you want to. So God will send these people. Nobody knows the tears that I cry. Nobody knows. Nobody knows the days that I spent in the hospital stressed out. Nobody knows the I couldn't even fit clothes. I couldn't even put shoes on. How swollen my body was. Nobody knows these things. People don't know these things. The only thing you're seeing is that I learned how to carry this cross. Nobody knows the rumors. Nobody knows the lies that was told on me. Lies that pushed me into my purpose. And I understood the lies that was told. And seriously, I promise you one day, I will talk about the lies, because the lies are what almost killed me. For somebody not to even accuse me of anything, but they were thinking about themselves so much. Anger, people get mad and say anything. Okay. And then you will take somebody that get mad, not mad, but insecure. And they don't believe in themselves enough. They don't trust God enough. And they see you and they see your light, and your light shining much brighter than theirs, not realizing that that person's light is going to ignite yours. So instead, so that your light, look at this. I'm starting to get the notifications. I thought I cut this off, but let me see. Let me try it again. Let's see. Okay. Do not disturb. Okay. So this person's light is shining a little bit brighter than yours, maybe a lot brighter than yours, and you can't see because of their light, but that's okay, because you want to know what? You're supposed to get in align with them, because their light is going to spark your light. It's going to ignite your light. So when you decide that you want to go and do some malicious stuff and dim someone else's light, you're dimming your own, because you're supposed to get lighted from that person. Everybody can't be no leader. Okay. And I just heard something the other day. There were these two guys and they were saying, be your own leader. Yeah. Make your own decisions, make your own choices. You don't want got to live with it. You don't want got to give an answer and account for every choice and decision that you make. But do understand that there are people that take the road, they go the road, they travel it first to come back and get you. Everybody couldn't be a Harriet Tubman. Everybody couldn't be a Frederick Douglass. Everybody couldn't be a Ida B. Wells. Okay, everybody couldn't be W.E.B. Du Bois or Booker T. Washington or Carter G. Woodson. Everybody couldn't be a Mary McLeod Bethune. Okay, everybody can't be a Maya Angelou, and she solidified her position. She said she is the best to ever do it. And see, here's the thing, so somebody is good at what they do, and they light shine a little brighter than yours. Get next to them. Don't worry about drowning in their light. Get what they light, you know. And so a lot of times this is, and one day I will talk about the lies and the rumors. This is the, and I actually had a reverend. I don't know this woman. I know her from a can of paint. But I went to a church and she said, there is an assignment on your life. And me, okay, yeah, okay. She was like, nah. She said, there's an assignment on your life. And I got quiet. And I realized that maybe she right. Because I ain't going through all of this stuff for no reason. And I'm talking about me now. Not in the sense of, I'm talking about me in the sense of, you don't know what I've been through. You don't know what I had to pull through. You don't know what I had to make it through. You don't know what I had to sit and look at myself, for bare, naked, and not physically naked. Because this is the thing, people. This the world we live in today. If I start talking about how I stood in the mirror naked, people will really believe that I was naked. Nah, I stood in the mirror bare, my soul, stripped of everything. All I could see was the filthiness of my spirit. Okay? And we are, listen, let me tell you something. I've seen people in the spirit. If you could see some people in the spirit and how they look, man, listen, you wouldn't even deal with them people. I mean, really, you see the filth all over them. And imagine God looking at us and seeing our filth. Somebody filthy. So when somebody be like, I'm filthy rich, they for real. I've seen people in the spirit, and man, they skin is just, I mean, it's awful. I mean, dang, that's their spirit. That don't mean we can't get clean, no. Seriously, and it takes time to get clean. But the thing is, you don't know what somebody been through. You don't know. You looking at somebody, you see them smiling, and they all full of joy, but you don't know. On the other side of joy is pain. You don't want that pain. On the other side is happiness, is anger. You don't want that anger. So whatever you see in somebody presenting, and they happy, and they, crossing, God is blessing and pouring into them, understand they've been tried, they've been tested. Okay? Tempted. Okay? One day I'm going to tell you all about my temptation with drugs, because I could be a crackhead right now. Really, I was this close. All I had to do was inhale it. And God wasn't trying to hear it. But one day, I am going to tell you for real, for real. But then you have to have an open spirit. You have to believe, because it's spiritual. And the longer that people don't take care of their spirit and open their eyes to what is in the spirit, everybody can't handle what's in the spirit. I get that. But you may not have a spiritual eye to see in the spirit, but you got one, and you should take care of your spirit. And so if you know that you got one, and the word says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but of principalities. Listen, let me tell you something. One day I'm gonna tell you about the principality that I'm awake, that I had to wrestle with, that decided that it wanted to take residence. It is what it is. Okay. You call me crazy. I'm sitting here. I'm very sane. And this is why I believe in the Bible. I believe in the Word of God. I believe God is real, because I know what I had to wrestle with. I know what I had to fight. I know what tried to kill me. Okay. So we 44 minutes in. We're 44 minutes in. And I hope that you guys, were inspired by some of the things that I said. Put that cross down. Put somebody else's cross down, and learn to carry your own, because I'm going to tell you something. When we get to the end of our life, and this be beyond the cross, we get to the end of our life and we transition, and we meet somebody, whoever it is, don't matter, and they asking us, what have you done with your life? Let me show you what you've done with your life. And we take that walk down memory lane, and we looking at everything that we done. And we trying to come up with an excuse why we did it. Too late for the excuses. So then it's doors. It's a door. We get to the end of memory lane and it's a door. And that's the door we're going into. And we have and it's according to how we lived our life. According to how we lived our life. So that when you walk through this door, you will know I chose to be here. And this is something that God gave me, and it scared me when God gave it to me. Because understand, think of A Christmas Carol. I think that's what it's called, with Scrooge. And you had the ghost of Christmas past and coming to take him, to remember. That's serious. That's for real. I'm telling you what I know. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to use myself as an example. I don't really like telling everything. I had a dream. And I was still feeling a little sorry for myself, it's hard for me to get up. I'm just watching TV all day long. I'm serious. And I fell asleep and I had a dream. And I was walking through somewhere. And I just seen these people. I seen different people. You had people playing video games. There were people playing video games. Then there were people just in a trance, watching TV in a trance. Seriously. And these are some of the things that I used to play video games. I have brothers. I have boy cousins. So of course, and not even just that, just growing up, Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Sega. I had to do that. I had to do that because I loved it. Nintendo 64. Listen, let me tell you something. 007 was my game. That was the last game I played because it started giving me headaches. I started getting dizzy, real sick, playing it, and I had to leave it alone. Boom. I'm watching TV. Then I end up watching TV. And then I'm going to fast forward some of it because it ain't none of your business. And your business ain't none of mine. We got to get that, in our head. I was running. Okay. I was running from God. All right. But understand, when we running from God ain't finna chase us. God don't got to chase us. Listen, there was something chasing me. There were two demonic creatures. They was chasing me. And I ended up at another door. And there was this being, this huge being that was at this door. And he opened the door for me to go through. He said, "Don't come back." And from when I woke up, I really started getting it together. I can't watch TV. I still watch TV. Don't get me wrong. I still watch some shows. I can't sit there and watch TV like that. Oh, no, 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 no. I don't play video games like that. No, 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 no. So understand this. Walk down memory lane. Yeah, you don't want to get to that, and you didn't treat people well. You was doing things that you ain't been doing, hurting people, making bad choices, decisions. Well, listen, let me tell you something. We are gonna make some bad choices and decisions. That's what it is. What it is. That's why you have to repent. We all for the rest of our life. We gonna make some bad choices and bad decisions. It should get a lot with wisdom. It should decrease. Okay. It should decrease. You got 50-year-old people right now, people in their 60s, who, wish right now they wouldn't have, they know I made a mistake. So, I mean, okay. That's why we repent. That's why we ask God to show us the way and ask God to forgive us. And, that's what we do. Walk your own path. Don't try to walk somebody else's path. You don't know what you're finna meet. You don't know what God prepared that person for that you finna meet. Like Solomon. That was never his, but he took it. Excuse me, he didn't take it. His mama did. Okay. But see, here's the thing: when you go after what somebody else has, you're always going to be in a state of who's coming for mine. That's why there was a question asked. It was a question I was always presented with. I don't know why, from young. And I think most people have been presented with this question. I don't know. Would you rather be feared? I mean, not feared. Wait a minute. Yeah, feared or loved? Love. Love. Because you can make people fear you and you can get what you want through fear. You could set up a whole team based on fear. But then you also got to understand that these same people who fear you, they want to eliminate you. Love, they will die for you. So what would you rather have, fear or love? Love. Love. Because when people love you, they know that this is the position that you're supposed to be in. They don't envy your position. They know they can't do what you do. And they walk in their own lane. They travel in their own lane. What road are you traveling down? And understand this. We always traveling, right? We always traveling. Ain't nobody staying the same. If you staying the same, you might be stuck on a wall. You might be focused on. I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm trying to figure out something that I focused on for a long time that really kept me from moving forward in my life. I've been through a lot of hurts and traumas. I think, and when I say this, understand that I'm not trying to make nobody feel bad. It is what it is. You know, being abandoned by both my mother and my father. They were young parents. And it wasn't like they were intentionally, I'm going to abandon you. And that's not what it was. What it was is, you know, I'm working. I can't really watch my daughter like this. And I know that her grandparents can watch her and they can, look out for her and look after her while I'm at work. So I'm gonna, let her grandparents take care of her. And with my dad was in prison. But my dad, or he also, my dad, moved, out of town, you know, and with another woman. And I was going to go and live with them. But yeah, I'm not trying to be funny or nothing. It wouldn't have been pretty, you know. I was very wild. I was a wild child, and at that time my father was living in Brooklyn. And okay, um, it just wouldn't have been pretty, you know. Nah, I already loved the streets, even though it was years later. I was still the wild child. I still would have gravitated towards it. It is what it is. But so that was it. That was for me. It was my abandonment. issues. I held on to it, not really knowing. I made excuses and stuff. I tried to rationalize it out, but it was also impeding on relationships. I had to get to a point where I cussed my mama and my daddy out. Not to their face. I ain't stupid. I cussed them out and told them how I felt. I think I was in the shower once. I got mad. I done told them off. I had to tell them how I felt, how they made me feel all these years. And then I let it go. And I forgave them. And then God began to, show me, who they are. They were young. They were young. And they weren't ready. And they did the best they can do at the time. Okay? So once I dealt with that and moved it, I could actually, it was something that got out of my way. It was something I dealt with, and that's something that we have to deal with, you know. But hey, listen, okay? Because I'm going to get off. I've been on here for almost an hour. I'm going to talk to you all just a little bit. But hey, listen. I am a healthy mindset coach and a celibacy coach. I help women heal through celibacy. I'm on my 12th year. Has it been easy? Heck nah, especially when, one of the exes that you liked, matter of fact, really, one of the exes that you like calling, y'all end up talking on the phone, y'all hook up, link up, and then all of a sudden, I want to come through. It's like, nah, we got to get to know each other again. But we already know each other. Nah, but I mean, really, without the sex. But we already done had sex. But no, it get a little, it can get a little challenging. And the last guy that I actually dated, we never had sexual intercourse, and we dated for a little while. He wanted me to meet his parents. I'm not his parents, his grandmother. His parents lived here in the States. He wanted me to meet his grandmother in Jamaica, and he wanted to take me. He was paying for it, everything, and I was with it. I'm not playing. And my homegirl, who is from Jamaica, when I was telling her, she was like, Shante. She said, do you know where you're going? Yeah, I'm going to Jamaica. She said, nah, the girl, this ain't tourist, Jamaica. And so I'm like, okay, But I really liked him. I liked him. But he was a little hard-headed, We did a lot of kissing. A lot of kissing. And he wanted to. And I wanted to too. But I needed to heal. And I had to let him go. He was a little younger than me. He was 25 and I was 30. 29, I'm sorry. I was 29. I hadn't turned 30 yet. I was 29 and he was 25. He was 25. He had it all together, okay? He's very smart, he computers. He put a tracking device on my computer. That's why I had, and I didn't know until later, but he'd always come over. He was from Rochester. He'd come over here, when I'd be like, don't come over. He didn't trust me because we weren't having sexual intercourse. You think you're young, you got to be doing it with somebody. So all of a sudden, he's at my house and it's like, what are you doing here? I got an exam to study for, so I just want to study with you. Okay. And I tell him, hey, if you planning on coming over today, don't, because, it's a blizzard, the weather is really bad, and it might not be bad there, but it's bad here. And you don't know how it's going to be on the thruway, on New York State thruway. All of a sudden, he at my house. What are you doing? It's dangerous. What are you doing? So I had to let him go because he yelled at me one day, and I don't take nobody yelling at me. You learn how to talk to me. And I was playing with him, and I said, he was telling me his mother, not his mother, he was saying that he was folding his clothes. So, and I was actually folding my clothes too. And he was like, and I was just playing with him. And I said, did your mother wash your clothes? I said, you folding them, your mom washed them? And he spazzed out on me. I've been washing my clothes since I was 12 years old. I'm a man. I'm like, the way he came off to me, I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I can't do you no more. I can't deal with you no more. Number one, I could already see, you coming over here and I'm telling you not to. I can't deal with this no more. But I found out later. I was having somebody fixing my computer. And he said, do you know you have a tracking? You're being tracked on here? And I said, what did I click on a link? He said, no, somebody sat at your computer and they're tracking you. And I remember he said he wanted to help me fix my computer because it was running slow. And he put a tracking device. He knew everything that I was doing. Everything that I did on my computer, he knew. And that scared me. And granted, we not together no more. But yeah, So, but hey, listen, I'm really finna get off. But let me put my glasses on because I didn't want to have them on because of the glare. The glare ain't that it is. If I go like this, it's not really that bad. And I ain't finna be going like this. But Joe, y'all listen. I listen to Pretty Boss on YouTube. And sometimes, she got another channel where she do her nails. She do her own nails. Homegirl be looking fly, right? She done inspired me, yo. Look at this. Look at this. I can't wait. Look at this. Look. Okay, I am going to, not right now. I'm going to try and do my own nails. Because I used to get my nails done. I want to learn how to do my own nails. I used to do my nails every 3 days, but just my nails. And my nails are pretty long. I be doing stuff and they be breaking and stuff like that. But my nails pretty long, and I would do my own nails, and my own nails was long. And I would do them every 3 days. But I would also get myself pedicures. I have my own foot tub, my own, all of it. Because listen, I'm spoiled. I started getting my nails and stuff done. My feet, I'm gonna say my feet, not just my nails, because I started getting my nails done way before I started getting my feet done. I was like, I think I was about 17, 18 when I started getting pedicures. So I'm spoiled. So I know how they used to do pedicures from back in the day. And they ain't doing them right now. It's just like you in and you out there. They used to have your feet in there, it's like baby feet. Soft, all nice. And when I tell you they took care of your feet, they did. And it's now, I'm spoiled. You ain't doing it right. What is you doing? This it? I done paid for a spa pedicure and this it? You just put extra bubbles in there, man. Listen, I do my pedicures myself. I gave my foot tub to my sister because she had foot problems, and so she didn't want to soak her feet. And I'm very particular about my foot tub. I clean it out every single time. Got with bleach and stuff like that. But I still don't want nobody else in my foot tub. So I give myself my manicure. So I'm gonna, not right now, probably this weekend, give myself a manicure and do all of this stuff. It's acrylic. I got all my stuff. The powder. So I'm gonna put me some nail tips on. We're gonna see how they come out. We all know it. If it come out real good the first time, that's beginner's luck. But it's gonna be some times that I make mistakes and stuff like that. And I'm okay. I'm okay with making mistakes. That's how we actually learn from our mistakes. But listen, Omnia, www.omnia.co, for your free coaching session, or if you just want to go ahead and sign up. I'm making some changes to the website now so that I can actually offer the packages online instead of you calling me and we going over it. That way you know what you're getting. You can sign up for it. Listen, if you do a package, you get a discount. Obviously, it's a package, a discount. You get some other little things with the coaching. You can do a one session coaching. I mean, if you want, okay, but also understand, because somebody had a problem with, my prices and what I charge. Yeah, I'm a life coach, but understand, when you get me, you get my expertise. You're getting my 12 years experience with celibacy, but also you're getting my experience from, going through the mental health care system, um, and dealing, learning how to navigate through. But you are also getting my education. I have a master's degree in psychology that focuses on life coaching. I am a doctoral candidate because I entered into a doctoral program. Granted, I'm on a break right now, a much needed break. I needed that break, you know. But yeah, make sure you go to Omnia dot www.omnia.co, and you contact me through there, sign up, whatever. If you got any questions, let me know. Um, you can email me at thecoach@omnia.co. That's too heavy. Put it down. Okay, it's not yours. Put it down. It's not yours. But also, hey, listen, because if you're reading Fly Girl Zone magazine, at www.flygirlzone.com/magazine, if you're reading Fly Girl Zone magazine at www.flygirlzone.com/magazine, please, by all means, donate something, because I don't get paid for that, but I do it because I love doing it. But there are costs, there are costs that go along with it. So go ahead, if you feel the spirit, if you feel this message that I gave you, donate a little something. Donate. But also, hey, listen, get over to www.nemanoir.com. I got some things coming there. The store is changing. I just got some shoes in. I didn't get them in yet. I just ordered them. And so I'm going to start having a lot of the inventory come to me, and I'm going to put it in a storage or whatever. You don't need it, all that. But I just ordered some two pair of Journey shoes. And they have these same shoes at DSW. Yes, they do. I'm legit. When I tell you I'm legit, I'm legit. They have these same shoes at DSW for a little bit cheaper. But understand, I'm not DSW. I don't have all the stores that they have. So I can't order a whole, because when you're ordering stuff, you order, say, like, you order 1 through 20, and it's, $10 a piece when it's really 15. And then you order 11 through 20, and it's, $8 a piece. So their stuff is going to be cheaper because they're buying it in bulk prices. I buy it in bulk prices, but it's I still have to, so it's gonna be a little bit more. But when you purchase with me, you get a little extra, something. So we'll just talk about that. So hey, listen, I'm out. Don't forget to visit www.nemanoir.com. And also, because, I am not good at this at all. Y'all know that I have a book, and it is called Stained Glass And those are butterflies. It is available. Stained glass windows for butterflies. Where is the book? I just had it. I just had the book. Okay, yep, it's right here. Stained glass windows for butterflies. See, bring it back a little bit. See, you can get it off of Amazon. It's on Amazon, but get it from me. You get a signed copy, and you have the option of doing a personal message. And you never know what you're gonna get when you order it from me. Okay, I might throw in something because that's what I do. All right, y'all. I love talking to you guys. My messages are becoming a lot more focused. God is really working on me. God is working with me. I'm not 100%. And I get mad and I listen. I have to be transparent. A lot of people are not transparent. When they, and I'm not gonna say a lot of people. I'm gonna say people. Some people, they're not transparent when they're in the Word. They don't want to talk about the weaknesses that they have. Listen, I got weaknesses. I cuss sometimes. Not a lot. Not a lot, but I do. Sometimes, I'll talk and be like, oh, ooh, or I have to be completely transparent. I ain't got no time to be lying and faking nothing. Not when God is real. Okay. Not when, if I'm mad and I don't say something too many times. And God be like, all right now, that's enough. Man, listen, I don't got time to be faking nothing. So I got some people, some people there was somebody, they tried to I guess set me up, because they do know that I am a minister. And some of my poems have cursing in it. I don't even went to God. These are poems written before, and I was going to go and change them. God said, why? That's growth. It's growth. Show your growth. And that's why I did not take the curse words out. That's why I refuse to, not put certain poems in the book, and it's not like they raunchy and crazy. They, I got one curse word, so there were, someone was trying to actually, record me cursing. I don't care about what people say. I care about what God's saying. And if God said, you have my permission, this is growth. Show your growth. Show your humanness, but also show your spiritual side. I'm gonna listen to God before I listen to the opinion of somebody else who probably, uh, uh, has very little integrity. All right. Peace out, y'all. It's time for me to go. Make sure, this weekend coming up, okay? I want y'all to, really go deep inside, because we're going to put this cross down. You're going to put this cross down if you want to. So I want you to go inside. I want you to take a look at yourself. I want you to see yourself. I want you to admit all your insecurities. Whatever it is that you're insecure about, because we insecure about something. I want you to take that insecurity. I want you to write down all your insecurities. But I also want you to write down all of your strengths, where you're strongest at, where you're weakest at. And I want you to use your strengths to strengthen your weakness. I want you to take everything that you feel you're insecure about and you're weak about. I want you to allow your strengths to sustain you while. Good night. Love you. That's my grandma, y'all. I want you to take your strengths and your weaknesses. I want you to take your I want you to take your strengths to help you sustain your weaknesses. I want you to look at your weaknesses. I want you to look at every single one of them. I want you to look at what's on the opposite side of it. So if you know that your weakness is cigarettes, what's on the opposite, and think about everything that's attached to smoking cigarettes. You can't hardly get up the stairs. Everything that's attached to your breathing. You get colds a lot, and on the other side of that is what? Health, right? Okay, so I want you to take your weaknesses and everything that you're insecure about and look at the other side of it. And then I want you to make a plan of how you're going to strengthen. Okay? How you going to get to that other side? How you going to strengthen your insecurities? How you going to strengthen your weaknesses to get to the other side? All right? If you have anger problem, on the other side is anger is what? Happiness, right? How can you get to happiness? How you going to get to happiness? All right, stained glass windows for butterflies, y'all. And you can go to www.omnia.co to sign up for your free coaching session or to purchase a package. And you can contact me at thecoach@omnia.co. Okay, y'all. Peace out.